So the reason I'm here today is because I have alcoholism, I have a disease, and I have an allergy to alcohol. I I know there's a lot of new people in the room, so I'm gonna kind of go. I'm gonna say what I always say, but this Alcoholics Anonymous is a program of recovery. It's not a program of failure. And it's a way of life where drinking isn't necessary. It's not a place to stop drinking. If you want to stop drinking, you just don't drink one day at a time until your mind shouts so loudly at you that you have to drink again, until you get in enough pain and you'll have to drink again. And that's how you stop drinking. I couldn't stop drinking. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stop drinking, and I couldn't drink. At the end, neither one was working for me. And as long as I thought I could stop drinking on my own power, I couldn't do it. And the craziest thing is that the day that I admitted complete defeat about alcohol, the day that I admitted that I cannot quit alcohol on my own, was the day that somewhere I got the strength to not drink that day, one day at a time. It says in the first step, it says, my admission of personal powerlessness became the firm bedrock upon which a happy and purposeful life could be built. And I could do that with alcohol. I could admit that I was powerless over alcohol. And that is the first half of the first step. And that's a principle. And in the 12 and 12, it also says that AA's 12 steps, which was, I think it was read at the beginning of the meeting, right? AA's 12 steps is a group of principles, spiritual in their nature, which if practiced as a way of life can enable me, the sufferer, can remove my obsession to drink and enable me to become happily and usefully whole. So that's kind of, that's kind of what I wanted when I came in. I wanted to be happy and usefully whole. I wanted to not drink. And so I came to AA and I didn't drink. They taught me how to not drink. If you don't want to drink today, you just don't pick up the first drink. Because of the allergy that my body has to alcohol, if I pick up the first drink, I am going to have a very rough time. because the allergy insists that I continue drinking. And the allergy kicks off a craving in me, which makes it impossible for me to know if and when I'm going to stop. And I have blackouts and car crashes and job removals, and I have a terrible life when I drink alcohol, and I trash every relationship I'm in. And because of alcoholism, because it's so strong, I put every alcohol in front of everything in my life, everything. In front of my wife, my kids, my job, my health, everything. Once I take a sip of alcohol, the only thing that matters is alcohol, drinking. And so that's why I can never ever drink alcohol again today successfully, ever. One day at a time I can't drink. But it's a principle that I can never drink again successfully. That's a principle that I live by. So when the craving to drink comes up, when the mental obsession attacks me and says you need some alcohol to kill this pain, this is too much, then I have a dilemma, because I can't drink alcohol, but I can't live with the pain in my head. I can't live in the life that I'm living without it, and I'm kind of screwed. And that's where the rest of the steps come in as a way of life. See, I thought I came to Alcoholics Anonymous. I thought that I came here and I stopped drinking and that I would be restored to sanity because I didn't drink alcohol anymore. I thought it was alcohol that made me insane, and that all of my problems were based on alcohol. And so I came in and I stopped drinking, and you know what? Right away, some things got better right away. I was able to keep a job. I was able to keep a relationship. My parents, were saying things like, "We're proud of you that you're sober," and I had money in my pocket because I wasn't drinking it away and I wasn't spending it on drugs. So things did get better right away. But as time passed, the old mind came back, the old ego came back. See, when I'm crushed by alcohol, when I'm crushed by it, and it takes away all my self-sufficiency, and it crushes me, and it crushes all the relationships out of my life, and it crushes all the money out of my bank account, and it crushes my ego into a state of helplessness, or a seemingly state of helplessness. Then I'm open to some help. I'm open to some guidance, and that's what happens in the beginning. I come into AA. I'm willing to do anything. But after I've been around here a little while, I think, maybe the new guys should be willing to do anything, and I should be able to just come in and take a seat, and the meeting should go on as it's planned. I got 6 months now. It's time somebody else makes the tea. It's time somebody else greets at the door. And the old ego comes back. And when I first come in, I'm willing to take any job, please, just let me have a job, I'll do anything. And then I get that job, and a couple of weeks later, I'm looking around thinking, man, this was a job for a low bottom drunk. I'm not a low bottom drunk anymore. I got 6 weeks of sobriety. I should be the president of this company. And so something happens, and the ego comes back as when the pain of the last drunk wears off. The ego comes back and it starts talking to me, and it talks to me with authority. And I don't know this, but it becomes the power for my life. Whatever my ego says, I do. If my ego says quit that job, I quit the job. And then the day after I quit the job, I look back, I go, wait a minute, I don't have another job. Why did I quit that job? And I just do whatever my ego says. It says go 90 miles an hour on the freeway. I go 90 miles an hour because it said so. I don't even ask a question. I'm like, why? Are we in a hurry? I'm not even going anywhere. Why do I have to go 90? It says just shut up and drive. Do what I said. And I'm going 90. And I'm getting a ticket, and I don't even have the money to pay for it because I just quit my job because it said to do that. And now I'm getting a ticket that I can't afford because I don't have a job from my ego that told me I should do that. And then the minute the cop finishes writing me the ticket, that same voice, the same exact voice says, oh, you are such an idiot. Look at you. You quit your job, and now you got a ticket, and you can't pay for it. Why do you drive so fast? There's something wrong with me, and it's not alcohol. So I got to know what's wrong with me, and I didn't know what was wrong with me for a long time around AA. They just said, just don't drink and you're a winner. And I was not a winner, as you could tell by the story I just told. That was my life. Everywhere I went, I made bad decisions, and then, but I did whatever my mind said to do. It seemed like a great idea at the time, right? And then it turned out to be chaos, and my whole life is filled with drama everywhere I look, and I'm sober, and I'm going, why does my life suck so bad? Why do I have all this bad luck? Well, it wasn't bad luck that I lost my job. I went in and quit. It wasn't bad luck that I got a ticket. I had to go 90 for no reason whatsoever. And so it's not luck. It's my mind tells me to do stuff, and I do it, and it's not right. And I have something wrong with my mind. And what's wrong with my mind, what I was shown, what alcoholism is an unsatisfiable, fault-finding, opinionated mind. My sponsor told me that's what I had. This is at about 2.5 years of sobriety because I was going crazy. With time in AA, I was going crazy. And I met this new sponsor, and he said, no, you have alcoholism. You have a disease. You don't have an alcohol problem. I'm not drinking alcohol anymore, but my life is a mess. So what's going on? He says, you have alcoholism. And alcoholism isn't alcohol. Alcoholism is an unsatisfiable mind. Everything I look at, I'm unsatisfied. That's what he said he had, and he thought that I might have that too. So I looked at my life. And when I looked at my life, I saw that that was true. My life, everywhere I looked, I didn't have the right girlfriend. I needed a different one. I had one, but she wasn't good enough. I had a place to live. It was a decent place to live, but it wasn't good enough for me. I should have had a better place. And I had a job. The job paid all my bills. But that wasn't good enough for me. I needed more. And everywhere in my life I looked, I was unsatisfied. I thought that being unsatisfied was a good trait. I thought that being unsatisfied was the thing that drove me to get off the couch. Except for that when you take the unsatisfiable mind and you put it with a fault-finding mind and you're finding fault with everything and everyone in your life, it's hard to get off the couch because what's the point? Everything sucks anyway. And I have a self-obsessed mind. I'm all I ever think about. Everything is about me. If somebody in the room whispers to somebody else, I think they're talking about me. Isn't that weird? Like Claire was saying the other day, two people were talking in her office and she was sure they were talking about her. That's the mind that I have. If two people in London are talking right now, anywhere in London, I'm pretty sure they're talking about me. I'm not even in London. Oh man, it's tough. It's tough. So this is what's wrong with me. And when I know this, I can walk into the steps as a way of life for my life. Because now I know what I'm treating. I'm not treating alcohol. I didn't drink today. I haven't drank for a long time. I should be done. If it's about alcohol, I'm done. I didn't want to drink today. But I certainly do have some obsessions. I'd like to have a bigger house. I'd like to have a different, younger, richer wife. I would like to have a job that paid me a lot of money where I got to be the boss of everyone. I would like those things, and if I ask myself about it, you know, that all those things in my life aren't right still today. And I could go crazy today. It sounds insane when I talk about it out loud like that, because today I love my life. I love my life. I love the wife that I have. I love the house that I have. I love coming home. When I come home, I get out of my car and I walk in. I don't sit in my car and dread walking into my house. I hear stories about that, and I know I've been like that before. Today, because of Alcoholics Anonymous, I love my life. I have the best life I've ever known. Isn't that crazy? The worst thing that ever happened to me was that I became an alcoholic with alcoholism. And today, the best thing that ever happened to me was that I became an alcoholic with alcoholism. Go figure that out. But the reason why is because I have a way of life today where drinking isn't necessary. I have 12 steps as a way of life. I have an application of steps in my life where, you know, now today it's not about alcohol. It's about alcoholism. It's about treating the disease. It's about treating the unsatisfiable mind by admitting that no matter what I get, I'm never going to be satisfied. By admitting complete defeat. That inside, I'm a complete defeat. No matter what I get inside, it's not going to be good enough for me. No matter what I get inside, I'm not going to be at peace. I'm not going to be happily and usefully whole because of the disease of alcoholism. When I can admit that, and I can become as crushed as I was about alcohol, about my life, about living a good life, then I can do some things that I can't do unless I have that state, unless I'm in that place where I can admit complete defeat. Because that's the beginning of the whole thing, is having that spirit of complete defeat, admitting how hopeless I actually am on my own power. It says in the first step, oh shoot, give me 1 second. It says, in AA's pioneering times, none but the most desperate cases could swallow and digest this unpalatable truth. The truth is that I have a disease that's not alcohol. Alcohol is the treatment. It says, even these last gaspers often had difficulty in realizing how hopeless they actually were. I come into AA and I stop drinking and I think, oh, I'm better now. I'm good. I'm not hopeless. I just need to make more money. I just need a girlfriend. I just need a new car. That's all I need, and I'll be okay. I don't realize how hopeless I actually am, drunk or sober. And then it says, but a few actually realized how hopeless they were. And when these laid hold of AA's principles with all the fervor with which the drowning sees life preservers, they invariably got well. So I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to go for this whole program like a drowning man sees as a life preserver. That's an image. You know, I understand that image. I know what it looks like when someone's drowning and they'll grab onto anything for their life. They're not asking questions. No, I don't want the white ring. I want the yellow ring. Please throw me the yellow. I don't want the white ring. It doesn't work like that when you're drowning, and it doesn't work like that in AA. There's no room for... you can argue all you want. There's only two treatments for alcoholism. One is alcohol, and if you're sitting in this room, I have a pretty good idea that the alcohol side has stopped working. The other one is the AA way of life. The AA way of life. 12 steps as a way of life. So if I can admit how hopeless I actually am, and I get to a place where it says I stand ready to do anything which will lift my merciless obsessions. I stand ready to do anything which will take away these obsessions. At first it's alcohol, and when I become ready to do anything, I ask a power that I know nothing about because I'm new to AA, and it's not the power that you're going to learn in the church or the temple or the mosque or wherever you go. It's not that power. There's a power that you're going to find in AA that's a living power. A living power that goes with me everywhere I go. When I stand ready to do anything which will lift that merciless obsession, when I'm totally whipped by alcohol, I say, okay, I need help. Somebody help me. Something help me. And the help is there. And now it becomes the same thing with all of my obsessions. All of my merciless obsessions. I stand ready right now. And when I stand ready to have my merciless obsessions removed, then I walk into step 2. And step 2 says I'm going to come to believe that there's a power greater than me, and that power that's greater than me is going to be the power that restores me to sanity. You know, another thing that I talked a little bit about it, but I didn't identify it. I have a self-talking mind. It talks to me in my own voice. Whatever it says, I believe, because it said it in my voice, and I believe everything I say is true. That's alcoholism, by the way. And so there's 2 powers. There's only 2 powers. There's 2 treatments for the disease, and there's 2 powers for my life. I'm a power, and there's a higher power. Some people like to call it God. The word God is easy to use, but I have a lot of prejudices against the word God. So I like power, especially in the beginning in step 2, because I'm coming to find something that I've never found before, and I've never trusted and relied on before, and I've never had a relationship with before. I have to come to believe that there's a power, that the power is greater than me, and that power is the power that restores me to sanity. All that self-talk, all that changing jobs and driving fast and eating too much and throwing out my girlfriend and trying to get her back, all of that self-talk that goes on in my head is me using the disease, the mind that has a disease in it. In the center of my mind, there's a disease called alcoholism. And I'm using my mind and my disease and my self-talk to try to restore myself to sanity. And it's never, ever worked. If it had, I would not be in Alcoholics Anonymous. I'd be running the big company. I'd have the big car. I'd have the big house. Because I've tried every way possible to restore myself to sanity. Even Tony Robbins. You'll try it. You'll read right? I've read every self-help book there is. I'll do anything but AA to try to restore myself to sanity. AA is the last resort. Even when I've been in it for 10 years, I still go to AA last. Because I don't want to. You know why? It tells me why in the first step. It says, every natural instinct in me cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. Everything in me says, no way, I can handle this. I can do this. I can get this right. I'll read the book again and I'll learn this information and then I'll be able to restore myself to sanity. Everything in me says, no, not God. You got to figure it out. I have the delusion that one day I'm going to wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world if I only manage well. If I only get the right job and the right girl and the right house and the right car and I read the right self-help book and I practice it in the right direction, talking to the right God, then I'll get everything I want. But I'm going to be the one who's in charge. And the second step says, no, you're not. No, you don't get to restore yourself to sanity. You tried, it's over. Game over for you. Today I'm going to come to belief by sharing my life with something that I've never talked to before. I'm going to say something. Could you help me? Something I don't even believe you exist, but they tell me I need something in order to be restored to sanity, so here I am. So do your magic. And something happens. It always happens. If it didn't happen, you still wouldn't be sitting in this room. If you hadn't had an experience of something restoring you to sanity about alcohol, you would not come to Alcoholics Anonymous. What would you be looking for? This whole program is about having a spiritual awakening. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. There's still some more stuff to do, but that's what happens as a result of the steps. I have the spirit in me is awakened so that I can intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle me. That intuition is my higher power, guiding me in the moment that I'm in so that I know how to handle situations that used to baffle me. You want to know which situations used to baffle me? Everything. Should I pay for the subway or should I jump the turnstile? What should I do? I don't know. I'm baffled. Should I pay the parking meter or should I just chance it? I don't know. What do I do? Oh, it's crazy. I don't know. It's a quarter. I don't know. Should I put the quarter in the machine? I don't know. I'm baffled. If I can get away with the quarter, is it worth a $65 ticket? I don't know. Let me talk about it for 10 minutes. There's something wrong with me. I have a disease. It needs a treatment. It's not alcohol. It's alcoholism. And if I do this way of life, I get the best life I've ever had. And I'm so grateful that I get to carry the message. You know, the 12th step says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, I try to carry the message to alcoholics. So I'm here trying to carry a message. I don't know what got carried. I don't know what happened here today, but I try because that's what I have to do for my 12th step. And I'm just so grateful that you're all here, so I have a place to try. So thank you for letting me share.